to be nothing, that Allah's rahmah and mercy to be dressing upon us. And if not by the grace of Allah and Allah's rahmah, we cease to exist, and our lives inshaAllah to be in the love of Sayyidina Muhammad, in the way of Sayyidina Muhammad, and to busy ourselves with the world of light and the understanding from the world of light. Alhamdulillah, in the 10th lunar month the reality of the 90 opens, that in the way of Shamsul Arifin from all the different knowledges of Mawlana Shaykh's barakah, that every month has a hijab, every month has a dress, every month has a reality. And for those who are trying their best to follow the Arifin, they're reminding for us that there's a ship in which that ship is moving in the marifah of Prophet, and that its bab and its gate enter through the power of 9, and this is from the sultanate of the heavens. And every servant of the heavens is stamped by the 9. Means on your hand you have 81 and 18, and the 8 and the 1 becomes 9, and the hand being the most, one of the most important features of the human. For Allah everything you want, you have to reach out for, every type of reading is through the hand. Means that Allah stamps that hand to remind that you are servants of the kingdom, and its sultanate is in the power of 9 and the azimat of 9. And in the knowledge of numbers 1 through 9, huwa al-awwal is 1 and 9 huwa al-akhir. And it's the building block of all numbers. Means that every other 2-digit number can be reduced to 1 through 9. 9 being the sultanate and the power. And alhamdulillah, we just left the sultan of months, which was the 9th month was Ramadan. And that in the way of marifah these ships are moving in the oceans of the reality of Prophet. And why they want us to understand these marifahs and these understandings and these knowledges, that by understanding them we're understanding where these ships are traversing. By doing their zikrs and understanding their knowledges, you begin to be dressed by those realities. And when they're teaching that in the 9th month, the sultan of months is Ramadan, in which Allah annihilates the ego. The power of Ramadan is so powerful and such a merciful dress that Allah completely with the qudra, Divinely qudra, annihilates everything in which He is not pleased with. And that's the barakah of siyam and fasting. That as soon as the servant is entering into that 9th hijab, and the fast of Ramadan means the only way to pass through that veil and that power and the qudra is in a state of fasting. So everybody been ordered on the ship, begin to fast. As that ship is moving in that ocean, then these qadrs and these oceans of power begin to dress the soul. By dressing the soul and annihilating the nafs, you're taking it to be a nur. So 9 being the highest power and being the doorway to complete submission. Because after you reach the apex of power, all that's left is a dust, is a nur. Means then the reality of the 10th month begins to open, and the reality of Shawwal, in which an azimat and each month has a hijab, has a dress and has a blessing within it. The 10th month opens the secret of 90, and from that 90 of Shawwal is the entryway and the 90th name of Prophet Sayyidina Ni'matullah. That by understanding that month and the names and the surah means that Sayyidina Ni'matullah, the 90th name of Prophet is dressing that month. So whatever you're asking from Allah, you ask it in Allah Ismullah, and asking in the greatness and in the love of Sayyidina Muhammad. The 90th name of Allah al-Mani, the preventer of harm. You say, Ya Rabbi bihaqq al-Mani, bihaqq ni'matullah, Ya Sayyidi Ya Rasul Kareem, Habibul Azim, that to grant me from my requests, grant me from my prayers, let me to be dressed by your oceans, dressed by your blessings. Means the understanding of how to use those keys, that hijab and that blessing is coming under Sifat al-Madi, in which Allah is going to be dressing that hijab. These are 12 ancient hijabs in which Allah is dressing eternally the reality of Prophet, that the soul of Prophet is continuously under the dress and the zikr of Allah. The dress of that month in which Allah is dressing the soul of Prophet Subhana man dhul arshi amma yasifun. Allah is magnifying and glorifying the Divinely Throne, and the importance of that is that the one and the zero shows that reality. That ni'matullah, that they're taking us now into the presence of the King by being annihilated in the oceans of 9, in the oceans of Ramadan, in the oceans of Siyam. What opening for us is the 10. The 10 shows itself that the one is the upright, is the reality of the Divinely Presence, and everything that enters into that Divinely Presence has to be in Nuh. That's why many people get depressed in Shawwal. So much light, so much power, so much energy was coming in Ramadan. Means Allah dressing the servant from paradise realities. Those are lights and energies that are not available upon earth. As soon as the servant enters into a state of fasting, Allah's dressing to such a high level of energy that when the next hijab of the month opens, you find yourself not even at normal but below normal. So they become very sad, they become very depressed, they become very sort of lethargic, they don't want to do anything. Why? Because of the high state of energy that was being dressed in Ramadan. Even the point of coming to normal, you don't feel it normal, you feel it to be negative, below the line. I don't feel like doing anything. No, this is a normal frequency in which you are vibrating at. But because of the extreme energy of Ramadan, then it makes the false illusion that something's gone wrong, maybe Allah forgot me, astaghfirullah, maybe something's happened. No, this is the reality of that hijab. So by understanding its reality, we begin to understand ourselves. From that annihilation, Allah making us like a nuh, like a piece of powder, just to be dust, that only that dust can enter into the Divinely Presence, and that signifies the 10. That if they want to bring the reality of insan into the Divinely Presence, because now this is the hijrah and the hajj of realities. Every year starts from Muharram all the way to the 12th month, the month of Hajj. There's a physical Hajj which you buy a ticket and you go to Mecca and Medina inshaAllah, or spiritual, in which every year, Ya Rabbi, we started Muharram with the right foot stepping, Ya Rabbi, that we're making a hijrah towards your Divinely Presence and never stopping. This journey is an eternal journey. So by the 10th month, Subhana man dhul arshi amma yasifun, means they're taking the souls and the reality into the Divinely Presence. Well, nobody can be on in the presence of one. That's why everybody feels ghashiyah, everybody feels down, everybody feels they have achieved nothing. Of course there's no way to feel that you've achieved anything in the presence of the One. You only feel that you achieve when you're by yourself in your own ocean, then you feel that you're the greatest one. But when Allah want to bring the servant into Divinely Presence, means I'm going to make you to be ghashiyah, to be nothing, to be crushed. And anything you didn't achieve in Ramadan has to be achieved in the 10th month, mean they crush everything, they destroy everything, bring everything down to be like dust. Better to come onto property instead of your physicality. Even when difficulty comes onto property, it's considered a crushing. And by the du'a of awliyaullah, they spare people from being crushed physically. What they didn't achieve and what Allah wanted them to achieve, it must be achieved. So then when a difficulty going to come, by the du'a of pious people, Ya Rabbi, spare them not to be in physical difficulty, let it to come to their property, which alhamdulillah is a big ni'mah, is a big blessing, instead of coming to the physicality. Because whatever Allah wants is going to happen, means that has to be crushed. So 10 becomes the reality of the crushing, that to be nothing in the presence of the One. That opens that way of marifah, and that opens the reality of binary code. everything in this dunya that we are benefiting from, and we've said many times before, is based on binary code. That the understanding of on and off, on and off. All of our training will be based on and off. All of egoism is based on. So this dunya teaches everybody, be on, all the time be on. Ananiya, I am, I am, I am. And you hear when they speak in the I-ness. I am this, I am that great one, I am descendant of this, I walk on water, I am, until they become Pharaoh. And he said, I am the Lord Most High. Our way in the way of marifah is that, no, you're nothing, you're absolutely nothing, I'm nothing, I'm nothing. Oh, I wish I was something completely unknown. To be unknown means why? Then you can become a dust, and dust they can blow it into the Divinely Presence. That's why the Awliya when they pray say, Ya Rabbi, let me to be dust under the feet of Prophet, not to raise my head, not to be anything. Anytime I think I'm going to be something, even you think you're a descendant and you talk to Prophet as if he's your brother and you talk in a disrespectful way, you're still showing that you're something, and it's not our way. Even your family, your not family, your brother, your sister, he is the Sultan alayhi salatu salam. You don't even raise your head into the presence of the Sultan. All awliyaullah are family of Prophet. There is nobody who came to the fountain of wilayat without being from Ahlul Bayt. Whether they're Ahlul Bayt of physicality or Ahlul Bayt in which Prophet granted to Sayyidina Sulaiman al-Farsi. There's no way to enter into that threshold. When Prophet grant wilayat, he has to drink from the fountain of Imam Ali salam's hands. And all sainthood, Imam al-Rabbani said, all sainthood and all awliyaullah know that their sainthood is signed by Imam Ali salam. Finished, that's the way. They're all Ahlul Bayt, but they don't ever talk with Prophet or talk about Prophet in a disrespectful. Means their family relationship is hidden in the family time with Prophet. Other than that, it's all based on the sultanate of Sayyidina Muhammad that you are nothing. You look to the feet asking, Ya Rabbi, let me just to be dust in the presence of Prophet, to be dust in the presence of Prophet and open for us the reality of binary code. As much as the person believes they are the one, the binary code can't open, because the binary code is based on an energy. If you're off, Izzatullah is on. If they teach you and train you on how to be off, how to be off, how to be off, and they move you into that presence, then what happens? Izzatullah can hit what's off. But if you're on and trying to move into the Divinely Presence, it's impossible. Allah, if you're on, stay on and deal with yourself. All that I want in my Divinely Presence is that which is off. That's why the gate of Ramadan means the Ramadan is the complete annihilation, be nothing. Even I don't want your worshipness, because fasting is the greatest reward for us to do nothing. Not even eat, nothing. Just don't do nothing, I'm going to be just in good. If it was based on doing something, well, the greatest reward would come from fasting. So even Allah wants everything off, be nothing. Only Allah will bring that nothingness, and then Izzatullah will dress it. Izzatullah, if it hits that servant, what happens the next month? The nothing becomes 1, 11. Because the next month coming is one of the holy months, Dhul Qida, right before the Hajj. Why that month is holy? Because by taking that reality, subhanallah arshi amma yasifun, moving it into the Divinely Presence, and under the tarbiyah of awliya, stay nothing, be nothing, keep crying, keep admitting to yourself that you're nothing. Hence difficulty in that month comes, so that they cry, they're nothing until they can take the dress of that month, be dressed and blessed by that month. And then the 11th month and the secret of 11 opens, where Allah dresses that from a ayna, from the mirror of realities. That if that nothingness and Allah's izzah begin to dress that soul, immediately it comes up into its oneness. then the secret of the 11th month, and 9 times 11 is 99. So the 11th month when it begins to open means that that one, and the understanding of marifah, that one of Allah it dresses the oneness of Sayyidina Muhammad. We can never reach into that. Ahad is oneness, is dressing the reality of Wahid. Wahid is again uniquely nothing like unto Prophet. As there is nothing like Allah which is Ahad, there's nothing like Wahid, because it's a wow with the Ahad, because it created this creation with the love of Sayyidina Muhammad. Means that wow, and the wow represents Prophet. So that one reflects to the one of Prophet. The one of Prophet then begins to reflect out to all awliyaullah. Means they carry the dress and the reflection of Sayyidina Muhammad, and then beginning the 12th month, which is the hijrah into the Divinely Presence, and that is the reality of Hajj. That they're not asking only from their physicality, but at every moment, Ya Rabbi, let our souls to go for a real hijrah into that Divinely Presence. And that real hijrah is by entering the Bab of 9, the Bab of Tawbah, in which the servant wants to be nothing, lose all of their identity and enter in towards that Divinely Presence. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifoon wa salaamun ala al-mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Bi hurmati Muhammadan Mustafa wa bi sirri Suratul Fatiha. Random. Anybody who analyzes code, there's nothing random. It's all very laid out and very specific. So the deeper they're going into numbers, the deeper they're understanding this is all a code. So then understanding of the numbers and understanding of that reality that is important for our lives. And that every hijab, every month that you enter into that hijab, you look at the diagram, you understand that this is the reality of this month is opening up. That, Ya Rabbi, let me to be under Sifat al-Mani, that your name, the dressing, because this is the dress of Prophet. When they discuss the haqqaiq of Sayyidina Muhammad, that Prophet was dressed for 12,000 years, 12 hijabs, and each hijab a certain amount of years Allah was dressing. As this dress was coming, then Prophet's light was sweating. That never stops because Allah has no time. So it means Allah is eternally dressing the soul of Prophet. It's continuously under nazar. So these hijabs, for us to understand, they're like a ocean. We're going through them. As soon as you enter into that month, then these awliyaullah are speaking based on those realities, because their ship is in that reality. So it means that Surat al-Balad is the 90th surah. So then the realities of Surat al-Balad will be dressing that month. That when you're asking for dua, Ya Rabbi, bisifat al-Mani, grant me my request, Ya Rabbi, by the name of Sayyidina Muhammad, Ya Ni'matullahi alayhi salatu salam, dress me from that. These are all the keys on how to use that understanding and that knowledge, and to understand their marifah, because you are a passenger on their ships. If you don't know, then you begin to study left and right in the wrong direction. As much as you can study that understanding in their ship, then you begin to understand what they're beginning to convey of realities. Next month is the month of Zalzalah. Don't be surprised if there's a Zalzalah, because Allah is bringing the power of that surah on the 11th month. So the month in which is the 11th, and the reality of the mirror, why Allah made it to be Surat al-Zalzalah? Because when you read Surat al-Zalzalah, Allah describing the concept of Zalzalah is that it has to shake and break what's hidden inside. When Allah wants something that's hidden inside to come out, how are you going to get it out? It's not going to come out willfully, it's like it's coming. You have to get and crack it. When they crack it open, then that which is hidden, Allah described, will be coming out. And every moment there's a zalzalah of this earth. They said this earth is in continuous contraction, exactly the same as the womb of a woman. From the beginning of her pregnancy towards the end, the stomach is in contractions. She doesn't feel it until the later stage when what's in has to come out. Same with the earth. Earth is in continuous contraction because it's a symbol of our reality. So then by understanding, you see of the 11th month this aynah is opening, the reality of this reflection is opening, and what Allah wants inside to become to manifest. So it's a very beatific month, lots of tajallis, lots of blessings. At the same time lots of hardship upon dunya. Muhammadan Mustafa Rasul.
سيدنا النبي سيدنا النبي سيدنا النبي سيدنا النبي